About 2 or 3 months ago, I was in the shopping mall, and I remember when I was browsing through a section, I noticed that there was a jigsaw puzzle on sale. Looking at the price and then also considering how many years it had been since I did a jigsaw puzzle, I decided to purchase it. This jigsaw puzzle was a thousand-piece jigsaw puzzle of a Mediterranean balcony, and I think it was really quite beautiful. After completing that one, I enjoyed the process so much that I did another one, and that was a 500-piece puzzle of some rock formation with the ocean in the background. And this is basically a landscape along the Great Ocean Road in Victoria, Australia. And the next one was a thousand-piece puzzle of the Office, which is an American TV show, you could say, and it's a comedy TV show. So I just did these in the past 2 or 3 months. And the office one, it's almost done, but hopefully I'll be able to finish it before I go on holiday. But basically, I wanted to kind of chat a little bit about the benefits that I've noticed on over the course of doing these jigsaw puzzles. The first benefit I noticed is that I definitely, each time I had that click on the jigsaw puzzle, I felt a small release in dopamine. And this is basically that feel good neurotransmitter that we get in our brain. Um, you might get a surge in dopamine when you're scrolling through reels on TikTok or Instagram. We might get it in other ways, but when I felt a release of dopamine when I was doing this jigsaw puzzle, I felt like the release was much more simple, and the reason was because I was doing it in a task where I had a break for the mind. Basically, I was giving the mind a chance to rest from the constant overstimulation that my mind is normally exposed to, and I was getting this dopamine release by doing a very simple uh, activity, which was a jigsaw puzzle. Now, the activity itself was simple, but the jigsaw puzzles were a little bit difficult. But basically, I definitely felt a surge in happiness multiple times when I'm working on this rather challenging puzzle. Moreover, with it being rather challenging, I noticed that it kind of developed my patience and perseverance. And I feel like this patience and perseverance is something that you can carry over to other aspects of your life. There are many times when I'm working on a puzzle and I really felt so frustrated. I just wanted to flip the table in frustration of not being able to maybe crack a certain section. However, when I ultimately got to the end product, which was that final piece, I noticed the increase also in my self esteem because I was able to do something that's quite challenging. Many people might start a puzzle but just drop it halfway through, but the fact that you're able to finish a puzzle and do it yourself after hours of continuously being on it is something that's commendable because it's not very easy. So definitely, I noticed an increase in my self-esteem because I did something that was quite difficult, and it's quite rewarding at the same time. Going back to that whole dopamine concept, I also noticed that it almost became like a meditation activity for me because when you're working on a puzzle, you're kind of focusing on the gradient, you're looking at the texture, you're looking at the color, you're looking at the shapes, and you're trying to look at everything bit by bit, a microcosm of a macrocosm. And when you're kind of doing this, it's very hard to have other anxious thoughts or negative thought patterns or things of this nature because you're focusing solely on the task at hand. This, as a result, kind of became a relaxation outlet for me. When I was doing the jigsaw puzzle, I became quite relaxed, and I noticed that it almost became like a mindfulness activity for me at the same time. So with this said, also I noticed that I felt like my mind was a little more mentally stimulated because it was doing something that was quite challenging. So I felt like it was also training my mind in a way. It's almost like doing chess or something because it's something that is challenging the mind. You're working on a puzzle. Um, Something that's really wonderful is when I was working on this puzzle, I had a friend that came over, and he saw me working on the puzzle a little bit, and he was so inspired after seeing how much I was enjoying it that the very next day he also got a puzzle, and he was also talking about these benefits, especially how relaxed he felt and how much of an outlet it was for kind of like releasing some stress. And then he thanked me for it. So that was wonderful because I got another friend into jigsaw puzzling, and on top of that, when he finished his puzzle, we had a bit of a puzzle swap. So we both had the benefit of kind of enjoying each other's puzzles afterwards. Um, so if you haven't done a puzzle in a while, I'd encourage you to maybe get back onto it. Maybe if you have a little time on the weekend, and see if you can kind of uncover that love for it, because I definitely have. And I think I'm going to be keeping jigsaw puzzles in my life for the near and maybe the long term future, because I've enjoyed it thoroughly, and I've noticed the benefits it's had on my emotional and mental well being.